All right, so this is what it's going to look like when you first get in there. You're going to want to consent to the electronic communication. This is just saying that you know everything's going to come electronic, everything's going to be emailed, your grant submission is going to be electronic. We don't accept um, paper applications at this time. So you just want to click I accept and you'll hit save and it's going to send a warning here for you. And then this is where you're going to hit the eligibility. So you're going to enter your name and then personal email and business email. Some people have two email addresses, some people don't. If you don't have a different email, you just want to add your second one in there twice. And then if you're a family child care provider, you would want to put yes. Are you licensed and in good standing? You would want to put yes. If you are in process, you would put in process. That means you're in pre-licensing. Have you received a grant from EBCLA in the past? If you say yes, it's not going to let you go any further because we are only allowing those that have never been awarded before to apply. So you're going to want to select no. Is this project needed for health safety issues? You would say yes or no. And then you would want to put in yes that you attended the webinar and then the date of the webinar. Okay. And then we're able to verify your attendance through the attendance tracking form. If you answer any of these questions wrong and hit save and it doesn't let you go on, just contact me and let me know that you may have answered one of these wrong and it's not letting you go on to the next. And I can fix that for you. Because as you see right now, there's only two tabs. But once I hit save right here after I've answered all those questions, all of these tabs are going to show up. So if those don't show up for you, you need to contact me so we can figure out what's going on, okay? So next you're going to go to the application information. You're going to want to put in the name of your program, your phone number, your address. If there's somebody else that we should contact, you can put that here. But if there's not, you would just leave all of this blank. Only the things with the red asterisks after it is going to be what you need to fill in. If your mailing address is different than your physical address, you would click yes, and it's going to ask you for your primary address. If you click no, it's not going to ask you for that. And then you want to check if you rent or own. If you click rent, this is where it's going to ask you to upload your letter from your landlord. If you click own, you just leave it at that. Are you opening a new program? If you select yes, this is where you're going to put your pre-licensing documents. There are two check marks because you need to have at least two of those documents. So this would be where your licensing number goes, and this would be where your pre-licensing documents go. And then if you had something else that you wanted to put in there, you could put that in there. If you click no, because you're not opening a new program, it's just going to leave it at that. And then you're just going to want to put in your county and your childcare license. And then your childcare, like I said, it just needs to be a PDF. So that would be your license. What your Colorado Shines number is, your license capacity, your current enrollment, children birth through 5, and then your current enrollment, children birth through 12. The year your program opened, and then are you accredited by NAYC or NAFCC? You can enter NA
Oh man.
applicable. And then how many months you're open during the year. And then we need to know, are you profit or nonprofit? How many infants you have? How many toddlers? How many preschoolers? How many school-age children? And then, do you accept families participating in the Colorado Child Care Assistance Program, also known as CCAP? If you hit yes, then it's going to ask you how many, and you would put the number here. And it's going to ask you about Universal Pre-K, Denver Preschool Program, and then any other programs. If there's any other programs, you're going to want to put so if you offer your own scholarship or your own tuition assistance, you can put that here. And if not, you would just put no. How many children are dual language learners in your program? How many may be experiencing homelessness? How many have special care needs? And how many would not identify as white? Now here, you want to hit save as draft, because if you try to just go to the next one, which is narrative, this might not save. So you're going to want to save as draft. Sorry, things pop up everywhere for me. So now you'll notice I have a green check mark. So that means everything was filled out. If you don't have a green check mark, that means you missed something somewhere. And it's kind of easy to miss because this form is pretty extensive. So for your narrative, so please tell us about your program. Speak about your mission, philosophy, the children, families, and community you serve, and what sets your program apart. So this is really where you want to talk about your program, and what sets you apart from other programs. And then in this part of the narrative, you want to explain how this project is going to either increase your license capacity or maintain your program. You want to talk about what barriers you're facing as a home child care provider. Um, is this funding needed to keep your program open, or is it needed to help you increase capacity? If you're starting a new family child care program, what hurdles are you facing to ensure your program will open? So this paragraph is really an opportunity to make a compelling case for the need and potential impact of your project. So you want to write this like you're talking to one of the reviewers, trying to convince them why you deserve this funding. Okay, so that's what you want to use this paragraph for. You don't have to answer all these questions. They're just kind of there as guiding questions. I have to put stuff in there. It's not going to let me move on. So please tell us about your project, including the anticipated timeline of the project. So this is where you're going to want to talk about your project, exactly what you're doing, what the timeline of it is. So this is where you're going to want to discuss that. And here you're going to put in your 3 before photos. And I don't have before photos right now. So you'll see that I don't have a green check mark when I'm done with this, even after I save it as a draft. So because I didn't add those pictures, you'll notice that there is no green check mark there. And that is because I did not add my pictures. So this is your budget. This is your budget table and your project cost, and where you're going to put your bids. So if you're doing, if you're doing a fence, you would want to put in those things here and how much they cost. And then if you want to show the reviewers a picture of those things, you can put it right here. This is optional. All right. And then you can put, storm door and installation if that's part of your project as well. And you'll notice this is going to go over $5,000. So your total project cost is going to be whatever that is. I can't add it up, but we'll say 6,500. So that's going to be above what you can request. So the amount you're requesting is $5,000. So you're going to want to put in here, I'm going to cover the additional $6,500 from my personal account, or I have a grant for $1,500 that I'm going to cover that additional $1,500 for. Okay, does that make sense? And then this is where you're going to upload your bids. So these again need to be, and we don't know why it does this, and we're trying to get it removed, but it does this. So this really freaks a lot of people out. It looks like you did something wrong, but you didn't. If you notice, once you hit OK, it's right here. All right. So this is where you're going to want to put your bids. Okay. So now I'm going to save as draft because I want to save after each one. You'll notice I have a green check mark. So next is the affidavit, and this is just saying that you attest that everything included in the application is valid and true, that you're licensed in good standing with the state of Colorado, that any expenditures you make with this grant must meet applicable code and licensing requirements, and that ECLA may verify information contained in this application. including but not limited to the licensing history and status. And this talks about your reports, that a 6-month and 12-month report is a requirement as the acceptance. And you confirm that if you're selected for the award, the information and photos shared in the progress and completion reports may be used for marketing and communication purposes by ECLA. So you'll want to click I accept. This talks about electronic signature, that you're noting by typing in your signature, it counts as a signature. And you would type in your name here and the date. And then we send out newsletters quarterly that kind of talks about our family child care home improvement grant and the other things that we do at ECLA. We don't send out a lot of emails and things like that, but if you decide that you don't want to be on the general mailing list, you can opt out of it by check marking here. So now I'm going to save as draft. And now I have a green check mark here. Now, when I try to submit as final, it's going to give me a warning. Before photo upload is required, and it tells me the format. So I can't submit this as final because I have not put in these photos. So it will tell you if you're missing anything and will not let you submit as final. So if this happens and you just can't get those photos uploaded or you can't figure out how to do it, you can contact me and I can help you get that done. Okay?